Start.
We got a little motorboat joining this video.
She won't leave us alone, so she's now going to be part of it.
But welcome back. I know we have been silent from social media for a little bit, but we've had a lot to process with our last IVF failure. So we are back. Today we thought we would talk to you a little bit about our appointment with our doctor and why we think we made a mistake from the very beginning. So one thing that was mentioned to us at the beginning of IVF is something called PGS testing, which stands for pre-implantation.
Big kitty.
Sorry, our cat is trying to knock down our camera stand. Pre-implantation genetic screening. So we were told from the beginning that this is something that we shouldn't really worry about because with our young age, we had no increased risk of having genetic abnormalities of our embryos. However, at this point, we have now undergone 3 rounds of IVF with no success. And while we can't be 100% sure why that's happened, one of the possible reasons is because our embryos are not genetically normal. Or are they? We don't know.
And that's pretty much been the doctor's explanation each time, is that at our age, at 30 years old, we have half of our embryos aren't going to be good. And so that is just a statistics game, and something that we probably should have done from the very beginning is PGS test these so we can eliminate this. And the whole reason we had a miscarriage last cycle and a failure was because of a blighted ovum, which is basically the egg sac gets implanted, your HCG increases, and you pee on a stick and it shows you're pregnant. Well, once that egg becomes fully implanted and the body realizes there's no good genome in that egg, then it aborts it. And so if that egg would have been PGS tested, it probably would have saved us from implanting it in the future.
Right. And with a blighted ovum, from what I know at least now, is that it can abort at any time, or you can have a miscarriage at any time. For us, it just happened really early. So that's why they're not sure 100% if this was a true blighted ovum or if it was a chemical pregnancy. But with a chemical pregnancy, your numbers normally don't get as high as mine did. So that's why I think they were more on the page of a blighted ovum with us. However, some people with a blighted ovum make it all the way until their ultrasound appointment. They get an ultrasound and they see no heartbeat. They see just a yolk sac with no anything else inside. So I guess we were lucky on that page where we didn't make it that far into the pregnancy. But either way, it was still devastating. So PGS testing, I'm gonna use the pamphlet that we were so kindly given by our doctor. What happens is, you know, they do the retrieval just like we've done the first 2 times, but they, she wants to be a part of this video so bad. What they do, let me get to the page here, is, you know, they still do the sperm directly into the egg like they have before, but what they do is they take a little sample of the embryo once it's become an embryo, and they send that for genetic testing to make sure that it has the right number of chromosomes inside. Sorry, I'm covering John's face completely.
It's okay, I'm reading.
You don't want to see them anyways, it's okay. And then once they've done that, they freeze the embryos, and then you do a frozen transfer. So that's kind of what we were thinking we would do next. We still have 4 eggs that are frozen from our 2nd cycle.
Well, I think it's important to talk about the risk. And
oh yeah, sorry.
I forgot, what did he say last time what the risk is? I mean, like, obviously you run the risk of them not all making it.
Right.
And once you take an egg, test it, you risk rupturing the embryo or it not surviving the process. So
Yeah.
I felt like he said it was like 98% success. Or it was like something really high.
Yeah, he did, which is funny because the first time he told us, like, don't worry about doing PGS testing, I felt like he was kind of saying that
It's too risky.
it was too risky because we didn't know how many eggs we were going to get in the first place, and that to do the PGS testing may make them, like, may hurt the eggs we had. But he's saying, like, yeah, 98% of eggs who go through this survive. But then again, when we asked him if we could test the 4 eggs that we already have frozen, he said that would be too risky because you'd have to thaw them to test them, then refreeze them, and then thaw them again to implant them inside of me. And he said that's where it's risky. It's not necessarily the, like, pulling that little piece of the egg to send for genetic testing. It's any egg takes a risk when it's frozen and thawed again that it may not make it. So I think that's what he was trying to say the risk is in. So we had decided that instead of using the 4 eggs we have left, we were going to go through a whole new retrieval, which for me has probably been the worst parts of everything have been the hormones and stuff from the retrieval. But we talked about it and we decided we were going to do one more retrieval and we were going to send these eggs for genetic testing because I don't want to have to go through what we went through last time, thinking I was pregnant, having this, like, just, I felt like everything was over, that it was finally over for us, that we were going to move on, that we were going to have a baby, we were going to be a real family. I mean, I'm happy to be a fur mom, but I want to be a mom to a baby. And then having that heartbreak, I think, was probably one of the worst things I've gone through in my entire life. I don't know how many women out there go through miscarriages and then don't tell anybody about it because I'm still getting over it. And for those of you who have done that, like, you are strong. You are so strong, and it's sad that we don't talk about this more because it's painful. But anyway, we had a plan. We set the plan with our doctor, and then we just got a notification the other day that insurance will not cover any of this retrieval or transfer or anything because we still have eggs left.
Yeah, so, I mean, at least we know now, and the 2 eggs that he did transfer last time were from our very first cycle, which we both kind of, I mean, we don't know anything about anything, but looking at the pictures from the first cycle to looking at the pictures of the embryos from the second cycle, the ones in the second cycle looked a lot healthier and more of the standard embryo that you see in all the textbooks for transferring. And so I feel like, okay, I understand why those didn't work. They didn't even look good to begin with, even though they were 4BB or whatever they were. So I guess going forward, I'm a little bit more confident using eggs from the second cycle, which we have 4 left. So that means we'd have to do 2 more transfers before insurance would cover another new retrieval round. So that kind of threw us for a loop.
Yeah, our plans have been changed. I guess we knew that the actual genetic testing wasn't going to be covered by insurance. I don't think it's covered by anybody's insurance.
Which costs $2,000 to $3,000.
Yeah, just for this. That's not including the retrieval process. That's not including the transfer. That's not including storage of the embryos or anesthesia. The whole process itself costs around $20,000. So to have no coverage from your insurance, that's ridiculous. We were willing to pay the, like, $2,500 for this genetic testing out of pocket, and then all my meds are unfortunately out of pocket at this point because I've exceeded my max for the year on medications, which was $5,000, no, $6,000. So we were already looking for money for those things, but we can't afford to do a $20,000 retrieval with $5,000 in meds and another $3,000 for genetic testing with no help from insurance. So our plans kind of changed. And then I've also been looking into adoption a little bit. We had one meeting with one agency already, and then we're going to talk to another agency soon. So we will update you guys on what that process is like and kind of tell you where our head is after we go through the second meeting, because I don't think we actually know what what we're going to do at this point.
Yeah, but we'll do another video at that time. Hope this was helpful to any of you out there. Thank you so much to those of you who do watch our videos and comment. We appreciate every view and all the feedback. I know it's been super helpful and supportive for us, knowing that there's other couples out there who've gone through this or even worse, and still give us that light at the end of the tunnel, which sometimes gets pretty dark. So thank you all for tuning in, and we love you, and we will see you soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.